Hey friends, family world, Luke here with another video. If this is your first time checking out our channel, I make weekly travel videos about different places that my husband Tyler and I have visited since moving to Europe in January. Today I'm going to talk about our last long weekend that we had at the end of May while having the opportunity to live in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Over this weekend, we visited Dingle, Cork, and the UNESCO World Heritage Site that has recently gained a bit more of public attention through the newer Star Wars movies of Skellig Michael. We had booked our experience at Skellig Michael over a month in advance, and let me just tell you that this is not the easiest place in the world to get to, but is definitely highly worth it if you're able to work out the logistics of it on your trip in Ireland. We booked our tour for Saturday morning, and on Friday night, we drove all the way to the town of Portmagee, which is a small fishing village on the southwestern shore off of the Ring of Kerry. From Portmagee, you board a small fishing boat and take about an hour boat ride to reach this isolated island. We were a bit nervous about getting there because they still only take very small fishing boats that we've heard only have about a 65% chance of having smooth enough waters for them to safely go out. In the morning that we were leaving, it was a bit rainy and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make it out. We were very fortunate in that even though it was rainy, that the waters were calm enough that our boat was able to make it out. Along our boat ride, we went around a different but nearby island called Little Skellig, which is great for bird watching and offered a first glimpse of some of the dramatic, rugged landscapes that these islands are known for. At first, we were a little bit bummed about the weather not being great, but we had to remind ourselves of two things. One, we were very fortunate that the waters were smooth enough that we were able to go in the first place. And then two, a lot of these landscapes are quite dramatic and ethereal with the fog and the stark landscapes. We quickly found that there was no reason to be sad about the weather. We landed on the island of Skellig Michael and climbed the 600 or so steps that it takes to get to the top of the site. For Star Wars fans, they may find that the landscapes in this island are familiar, as this is where the famous scene at the end of Episode 7 was shot, where Luke Skywalker was living. We were so fortunate that during our time on the island, the weather continued to get better and better to the point where it was almost unrecognizable that it had been raining quite heavily not too long ago. Our hike down was truly stunning, not only with the clearer views with the sun being out, but also we were stunned with how close we were able to get to so many puffins. Tyler and I had been wanting to see puffins close up for as long as I can remember us traveling and had never had the opportunity to have a great puffin sightseeing experience. And without us even planning it, this turned out to be the perfect opportunity for us to have that. So worth it. This may have been my favorite experience in all of Ireland, and that's not an exaggeration. After this, we headed back to Portmagee and headed to the town of Dingle, which is located on the Dingle Peninsula. Most of the Dingle Peninsula is what's referred to as a Gaeltacht. A Gaeltacht is a region of Ireland that preserves a lot of the Irish language, and where it is not uncommon to actually hear locals speak Irish to each other, and where there is strong efforts to preserve the language and culture. We stayed at a beautiful bed and breakfast in Dingle and enjoyed the arresting views, as well as hearing the spoken Irish at the local pub down the street. As someone who studied Irish for a year in university, this was an experience that I was really looking forward to, and I'm so glad that I had the chance to visit a Gaeltacht. The next morning, we headed to Dunquin Harbor, which is also referred to as the Sheep's Highway. This harbor is located off of the very scenic Seahead Drive, which takes you around the coastal perimeter of the Dingle Peninsula. After enjoying our experience driving around the Dingle Peninsula, we headed to our final destination for the weekend, that of the city of Cork. On our way to Cork, we stopped at the famous Blarney Castle, which houses the very popular Blarney Stone. I do have to say, and this may not be a popular opinion, I don't know, but we felt that Blarney Castle was the biggest tourist trap that we've encountered in all of Ireland thus far, and quite frankly, found it to not be worth it. The castle is pretty, but to even get to look at the castle, you have to pay 18 euros per person, and then wait over an hour in a ridiculously long line just to get to the top of the castle and kiss this gross stone that how many thousands to millions of people have kissed before you. Needless to say, Tyler and I were not overly impressed, and we feel that there are other castles in Ireland that have just as much, if not more, to offer for significantly less money and waiting times. But that's just my personal opinion. A site that I do think is worth it is one that's called the Rock of Cashel. The Rock of Cashel is only about an hour or so north of Cork and is a lot less expensive, a lot less touristy, and a lot more interesting overall, with great historical tours as well as really picturesque ruins. So, needless to say, if you're someone who's looking for the castle experience in Ireland, I would say Rock of Cashel has a bit more bang for your buck than Blarney Castle does. Now, our final destination was Cork, which was a cute and lovely city. The city is built on the River Lee, which divides the city center into islands, reachable by several bridges that surround the perimeter of the city. Honestly, this is a great city even if you have no itinerary set, just to walk around, enjoy some great food, and just kind of take it easy. That is it for our experience at Skellig Michael, Dingle Peninsula, and Cork. This was a bit of a bittersweet trip for us, as this was our last major trip exploring the island of Ireland, as we will soon be leaving Belfast and embarking on a new adventure. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, be sure to check out our other Ireland videos on this YouTube channel and subscribe for future videos to some of the other places that we'll be visiting in Europe over the next 4.5 years that we plan to live here. If you're wondering what's coming up next, we will be embarking on about a 2-month backpacking trip throughout different regions of Europe. Given that we will be very busy exploring these different areas, I will likely not be taking the time to film, edit, and post new videos while we're away. However, I do plan on posting a number of pre-recorded videos about different things that aren't specifically related to travel weekends. So stay tuned to see what else this channel has in store for it. Also be sure to check out our blog at lukeandtyler.com for more details about the places that we visit, as well as Tyler's beautiful photography. See you at our next video. Bye!